Hello, let's begin standing up against a nice blank wall. You're going to go ahead and take your hands and place them flat on the wall at around shoulder height. So you're just kind of standing normally with your hands out in front. So step one, we're going to work on stretching into our wrists. So we're going to do that both sides at the same time. So from here, you're just going to walk your hands down the wall until you get a little bit of a bend in that wrist. And then you can get a little stretch across maybe your thumb, maybe your hand, maybe your forearm. If this feels okay, you can just hold it here. If that's a little bit much, you can bend your elbows to get a little bit of stretch out. Take the stretch a little more like this. So you'll kind of bend your elbows to get a little less severe on the bend, and then more like that. All right, very nice. Now we're going to go ahead and get into our wrist pivots. So you're going to walk your hands up the wall just slightly. We're going to go ahead and place your palms flat. Have your hands up a little bit more if it feels kind of tight today, or if you're feeling good, you can have your arm and your hand at 90 degrees. So we're going to think about one hand at a time. First, one wrist is going to pivot, and the other wrist is going to pivot. So we're thinking about our wrist where our forearm meets our wrist and our hand. It looks like this, where we're literally rolling our wrist in our forearm, or forearm rolling in our wrist joint. So from here, hand is going to stay flat. I'm going to walk you through it now. Hand is going to stay flat. If your hand is in your wrist or feeling a little bit iffy, you're going to go ahead and walk your hand up the wall until you don't have too much of a bend on this wrist. Then we're just going to think about what your elbow is doing. So you're going to think about your elbow kind of rolling so that it faces up toward the ceiling. That's going to pivot at the wrist here. Then you're going to roll so that it points down. And then you're going to roll up and roll down. So that forearm is actually pivoting in your wrist. Make this movement super tiny. If this feels absolutely terrible, keep this roll super, super small. We'll do a few more. And then we're going to go over to the other side. So same thing here. You might notice that your wrist doesn't feel great, so you want to have it a little higher on the wall, or you can have it a little bit lower, up to you. So we're going to go ahead and think about what this elbow's doing. This ankle's very strange. I'm trying something new. I don't know if it works. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and roll so that our elbow is facing up, and we're going to roll it so it faces down, keeping this super small. If this feels terrible, we're just going to kind of see how it feels and see what works. Trying not to move your hand too much, so your hand shouldn't be following it. Your hand should be planted on that wall. Wonderful. Making this a little smaller if you need to. It can always get bigger later. Let's do one more on this side. Perfect. Go ahead and shake it out. Now we're going to take that wrist stretch again. So both hands are coming back to the wall, walking our hands down until we get a little stretch on the heel of our hand, maybe your thumb going down into your forearm. So hands are going to plant, and then we're just going to get that little stretch going. Doesn't have to be big. You can lean some weight into your hands, then come off. Lean some weight into your hands and come off. We're just trying to find a little bit of openness here to make our pivots a little easier the next time. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and do the opposite. So we're going to go ahead and take the top of our hand, gently rest it on the wall, one hand at a time here. We're just getting a little stretch on this part of your wrist. Little stretch. And then you don't have to press your entire back of your hand down on the wall. It can be kind of at an angle. And then let's go ahead and do the other side. Same thing, little stretch. Just thinking about pressing this down and reaching that hand forward, not so much getting it flat on this wall. Beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and go back to those wrist pivots. So here, standing up, hands are going to plant. We're going to do both hands at the same time now, if that works for you. If you notice that you really need to stick with one hand and then the other hand, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and pick a hand to start with, and I'll cue you when to switch to the other side. But if you're going to try both, you're going to go ahead and find that hand position, and then we're going to go ahead and find those pivots, pressing all our corners of our hand down, rolling from our elbow so that our wrist joint actually rolls a little bit. Remembering to make it a little bit smaller if things are feeling kind of terrible, or a little bit bigger if you have a little more room this time. If things are kind of feeling cranky no matter what you do, take your hands up a little higher on the wall so you have a little bit less of a severe angle on your wrist here. And then if you're doing one hand, go ahead and switch to the other side now. Taking your time, a few more here. You might notice as you keep doing this that your pivots actually can get a little bit bigger, or things might be feeling kind of tight. That's also fine. Sometimes wrists need a little bit longer than just a few stretches to start feeling better. So we'll just keep coming back and keep practicing it, and it will improve. Very nice. Let's go ahead and do 3 more. And then release. You can go ahead and interlace your fingers, roll your wrists a few times. Maybe stretching out your wrist one direction, one side, then the other. And then look at that, you're all done. Good job.